It has been just under a week of Year 6, Season 2, and I am already being asked, what's next? Where does this go? Yeah, this is cool and all, but what now? Where's the new stuff? Where is this leading us? And all of the different ways of asking the exact same question, because we all know that Year 6 Season 2 is just a lead up to the new DLC. And that DLC is slated for March of 2025. So the question is, where do we go from here? What do we have to hold us off until then? And is this going to actually work? That is all the different questions I'm going to try to answer in today's video. This is going to be a really packed video full of information. Everything Year 6 Season 2, from the good, the bad, the ugly, and what to look forward to after this season. So I hope you enjoy. It's kind of an all-in-one video. So if you like information, well, here you go. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 video. So sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. But we have until March of 2025 to get through the season. And I don't know about you, but I'm already done with the season. So let's talk about, we'll talk about the good stuff first. Then we'll talk about the bad stuff. I'll tell you my overall review, and then we'll talk about, the DLC and everything. Because as of right now, the timeline is 20 weeks. Now, I'm well aware that as of lately, the developers don't want us to talk about this timeline. Because it seems more times than not, they screw it up, and they end up delaying. So we're going to hold their feet to the fire, and as of right now, it says that the DLC will come out March 25th of 2025. Because remember, the second that this season ends, the next season starts with the new DLC in Brooklyn. So we have until March to get through this season. And well, my friends, my agents, I don't know about you, but I'm already tier 100 thanks to their really, really bad bug that they had with their season pass XP. For the priority objectives, there's nothing left to do because I already have all of the passive modifiers. For the journey, I already have all of the active modifiers, so I have, another 20 weeks to do this one journey mission, which probably won't even take, a few days. And, well, what do we have that's new to look forward to? Oh yeah, well, we have this new exotic holster and a new named backpack that are meta-changing. But that's really about it for another 20 weeks. So the thing about this is looking at the event timeline. I don't want to jump into that. All right, let's talk about the good stuff first. Okay. So the good stuff. Okay. The good stuff. Well, we'll talk about the holster and the named backpack. I mean, I am not going to sugarcoat this. I am not going to kiss any feet. We play the exact same game. I'm not going to sit here and try to fluff it up when you can play the exact same game I have. Now, looking at the named backpack, because I will be doing a build on this very soon, it's called the Vigil. Let me scroll down here. Boop-a-doop. There we go. So the Vigil, it is the new named Legatus backpack with perfect versatile. And you can see I already have one with crit hit damage. And I'm going to switch it over to double crit, and then I'm good to go. Now, the reason why I'm calling this one a meta maker already is because it gives you swap speed, okay? Then the talent gives you amplified damage by swapping your weapons. Those go hand in hand with each other. Not only that, but it comes with a red core, and you can easily, just like I'm showing you right here, go double crit, just by changing that status over to crit chance, like so. Give me a second, because I know a lot of people are more visual. There we go. And boom. Now I have a double crit backpack with perfect versatile. And I could switch this over to, I don't know, any sort of SMG or even a shotgun and get amplified damage. For example, if I use this exact build, I would get 30% amplified from the chest piece. To my AR, I would get another 15% amplified damage, but to my shotgun, I would get another 45% amplified damage. So that means I could use my St. Elmo's engine and just beam the enemy from mid to long range. And as soon as they come up close, I'll swap weapons, get the perfect versatile to kick in, and then I could use the Thorn, which is already sitting at 1.6 million damage, just sitting here. And then you would add all of that extra amplified damage to it. And on top of that, I have Perfect Brazen, which gives me more amplified damage. So you can see how this backpack is a really, really good backpack. It's really strong, has great synergy, the swap speed on top of the perfect versatile. Mwah! You know, chef's kiss. Now, to make it even more disgusting, you could add the Hollow Man mask, because the Hollow Man mask got a huge buff. 4% health damage, but then also double the weapon damage if you use 2 pieces of Y'all gear. But for this example, we'll just stick with the health damage. And then you could easily just switch over to the new exotic holster. Now, we have even more craziness to add to the fold. Because now, you could beam enemies from mid to long range with your AR using Perfect Glass Cannon and that new health damage that you have, with the damage to armor and damage targets at a cover. But then you could switch weapons, right? You would get amplified from the perfect versatile, but then you could get rate of fire and more weapon damage from the holster. Not only that, but then you could switch back to your primary weapon and get 50% mag size and reload speed, and that will bump up your St. Elmo's engine to nearly 100 rounds. Yeah, actually, hold on. Let me show you really quick. It actually might be more than 100 rounds. Because if we're sitting at 70, let's see here. Pretty easy to, test. A Wahan and a Tahoo. Yep, 105, 106 rounds. So now I have 106 rounds on my St. Elmo's engine with a full red perfect glass, perfect versatile build. I mean, you can see where these two items are really, really strong, and they're even better when used together. But I'm not going to give you all of the little build ideas, because this holster alone is going to change a whole bunch of builds. There are so many builds that we can make revolved around these two items alone, on top of all the other balancing changes that have happened. So those are good things, right? With the update. Really good. Those are pretty awesome. Another thing for like build makers and things like that, you can, mess with the modifiers, do a little dabble with the modifiers. Now, yes, you can deactivate them just by clicking X right there. Boom. And now it's deactivated. Look at that. I have no modifiers. But then, boom, you can activate it. And you can have all of your cool modifiers. Pretty decent, right? Now, the cool thing about the modifiers, I will admit, is that it can change your build dramatically. For example, let's just talk about the passive modifiers. The passive modifiers you can get from your priority objectives. It will be under the reward category. It'll say modifier there. And then whenever you open up that priority objective, you'll see whichever modifier you're about to unlock. Pretty cool, right? Pretty decent. And you have all of these different modifiers you can choose from. Really cool change of pace. And based off of the range, you can switch up this build and make it even stronger. For example, at the long range tab, You can increase your headshot damage by 150%, but body shots have reduced damage. So it's just telling you, use a sniper, go for headshots, and you get 150 more headshot just from that one modifier. This one, every headshot behind cover within long range grants you 5% marksman rifle damage per shot, up to 30%. So you get 150% more headshot damage from this one, and then you get another 30% marksman rifle damage from this modifier. And then finally, by the teeth, each shot to an enemy's body will increase your damage up to 2.5%. Now, this multiplier will grow to 0.5% with each shot, and any registered headshot will reset it. So the bonus will stack on different enemies, and then it'll go away once you get a headshot. So you're stacking damage by hitting people in the body with this one. You're stacking marksman rifle damage by shooting people in the head and cover with this one. And then by having Tapper activated, you'd get more headshot damage. This is all just long range. So if you're used to using, say, a marksman rifle with Headhunter and Determined, this makes you even more godly. I mean, come on. Now for short range, some cool ones right here. Impatient. This will increase your rate of fire and reload speed by 30%, but it takes away half of your magazine size. But that increases your rate of fire and reload by 30%. It's really, really crazy strong. Highly recommend. And it is amazing with, like, say, the Ouroboros. However, the Ouroboros has a fairly okay magazine size, but cutting that in half kind of destroys the purpose of it. So you have to, like, mix some magazine size in with this modifier to try to get the best of both worlds. But still, pretty cool idea. It changes up, you know, the gameplay, what have you. Nice idea for build makers. But that's it for the good stuff. Actually, one more thing for the good stuff. Going to your events timeline, you will see that now they have ×5 XP events coming up, ×3 XP events coming up, more ×5 XP events coming up. Right now, we're in a ×3 XP event. They're doing a lot of XP events to help people get their shade levels up and all that jazz, right? Not bad. Those are the good things. Really cool, right? We have a cool new exotic, a cool new named item, and we have, you know, some other cool stuff. Now, going to the bad stuff. First and foremost, this new exotic AR, I'm not feeling it. The Strega, I'm not feeling it. A lot of people like it because it's currently, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to say it's bugged yet because the developers have not publicly said anything, but it's clearly acting abnormal where your skills can do the stacks. You can keep the stacks on the weapon and then switch different weapons to get amplified damage. I mean, it's clearly not working as intended, but as of right this second, yeah, it's fun to use. But I'm not going to get used to using this weapon if it's already bugged. You see what I'm saying? Because once I start to have fun with it and then they change it and say, oh, that wasn't intended, then I'm going to really not like it. You see what I'm saying? So I'd rather just not touch it at all. I'll let it collect some dust. And then whenever they're done tweaking it, I'll revisit it and see what's up. Because right now, covering it, it's kind of a twofold because you know it's not working as intended. And there's some shortcuts of getting more damage and more stacks. So it's not really fair to show you, you know, some build videos when it's not really working up to snuff. As far as the magazine size and all of that, it's just not that great for me personally. The marking of all enemies within 20 meters is amazing. I do like that. I do like the damage that the talent brings. But the magazine size, 40 rounds, it's just so small. It's ridiculous. I mean, they even bumped the Bighorn to, what, 42 rounds? And I still think that the Bighorn needs more ammo, too. I mean, maybe like a 50-round mag for, you know, just as like a minimum would be perfect for these weapons. but dropping it down to, 40 or even lower if you're going to use some of these modifiers, it's just a no bueno for me. I don't dig it. I'm not even going to talk about the gear set and brand sets because they are just not, they're not meta changing. We still have the metas being Striker, Umbra, and Heartbreaker. Those are still going to be the best things in the game no matter what. I will still be doing build videos and showcases to show you the new sets. But as far as it being a great thing for this update, it's not changing anything. It's just adding more things for your inventory and your stash. And if you're anything like me, your stash and your inventory is already full. So them polluting the loot pool with even more crap that you can't even fit in your inventory and stash just seems a little redundant for me. So I'm hyper focusing on the new exotic holster and the new named backpack because those are the two items, in my opinion, that can actually change the game for a better and not just, dilute the loot pool and mess up your inventory numbers. So, that's about the gear and weapons, right? Let's talk about the actual game and what changed and all of the bad things that came with this season. First and foremost, the money. They are asking you to spend more money than ever. They have never asked you to spend as much money as they are asking you to spend this update. Now you can see in the bottom part of your screen, I have 1,300 premium credits. Okay, whatever. That's like maybe $10. And then I have 282,000 textiles. Mind you, textiles used to be used to purchase old apparel items that were previously showcased that would then be added to the apparel cash loot pool, and then you could later on purchase them with textiles because to get textiles, you have to get duplicate items from your apparel caches. However, they kind of did away with that. We now have Danny Weaver, the wandering vendor, and he is now one of the only ways of spending textiles. The game has decided to go through a different route for bundles and for buying new outfits. All of it has to do with premium credits, and none of it has to do with textiles. Not only that, but they are showcasing old outfits for you to buy from previous seasons and previous apparel events. They are not bringing back old apparel events. So everything being added to the store and being added to the apparel, they are all going to cost premium credits. Now, if I go to some of these old outfits, let me see. The oldest outfit I can go to is the Shade Paragon. And if I go to one of these outfits, it says that I can purchase items with premium credits or textiles. However, all of these items only have premium credits as an option. None of these items have textiles as an option. So they have made it to where everything apparel-wise and everything that you could previously get with textiles, it's all premium credits. In my opinion, it's a horrible idea, especially for all of the veteran players that have earned their textiles, because you can't cheat this. You only get textiles through opening the apparel caches. You can only get the apparel caches through leveling up. So you have to put in the work and the effort to even earn these textiles. And they completely did away with the use of the textiles outside of Danny Weaver. And if you've ever seen Danny Weaver's vendor, you can only spend about 1,000 textiles a week. A week. So that means I have enough textiles for the next, 282 weeks, if that's the only option. And right now in the game, that is the only option. The next thing was the Season Pass. the season pass was a horrible idea. So what they did is they made the season pass to where you have to buy the premium to get the normal drops that you would have got previously for free, and for all of the additional outfits and skins that you would typically get from getting the premium pass, now you have to buy the premium plus pass. Now, they did not properly explain the difference between the premium and the premium plus, where the premium plus was basically giving you some premium credits with the premium pass, and a lot of people were buying both of them and wasting their money, and with that, the game did have to refund some people. Now, there are still reports of multiple people buying both and getting, swindled out of money and not getting refunded. There's also a current bug in the game with the new apparel menu. Now, I was going to say that this is a good change for the game. This bottom section right here for your apparel menu, this was just added to the game. If you didn't know, now you know. However, what it did is every single one of these items down here are now marked as missing from your outfits store. So if I go to my outfits, it says that I'm missing, just from Gameology, my backpack and chest piece. But if I go back to my apparel menu, backpack and chest piece, you can see right here, Gameology backpack, and here it is, Gameology chest piece. I own them, but it's telling me to buy them again. Not only that, but you can see right here, all of these. These are all telling me to buy them with premium credits, but I own all of them already. Isn't that crazy? I think that's pretty damn crazy. And that's a current bug in the game. So I'm listing this as a bad thing because it's telling you to spend money that they're not going to refund you. And it's just a visual bug, but it's a bug that could give them more money for free. So there's that. And I still don't understand why that's even in the game. I would just remove purchasing stuff with premium credits until this is fixed, because it's pretty much a scam, right? They know it's a visual bug, but it's telling you to buy things with real money. And when you do that, it tells you that it's not going to get refunded. I'll use that Gameology for another example. You can see right here, it says, note, items purchased with premium credits cannot be refunded. And then it's telling you to buy them with premium credits. But I already own it. So I don't know why this is still in the game. This is the 4th or 5th time I've talked about this, and it's still in the game. And I think the reason why is because it gives them money for free, and they can legally say that they don't have to refund you because it tells you that you're not going to get refunded. So I have that as like a big L for the game, in my opinion, because it's all aimed at you to spend money. Now, the next part is content. Okay. Content. So for the next 20 weeks, what do we have to do? Well, if your answer would typically be the season pass, you can complete the entire season pass in an hour. Even faster if you know how to do the seasonal pass XP trick through the priority objectives. And if you didn't know, under reward for these priority objectives, all you have to do is find the ones that say Season Pass XP and do them right now. And you can level up your Season Pass pretty much instantly because it goes off of the triple XP multiplier that is currently in the game. So the triple XP multiplier with the boosted levels you would get from the Season Pass, and on top of getting Season Pass XP boosts from the priority objective, you can see how people flew through the Season Pass in a matter of, minutes or hours. So if your question is, oh, I'm just going to grind the season. Well, the season is pretty much done for you because of that current XP bug. The next thing would be, oh, well, I'm going to do the new priority objectives, in which I would say yes. The new priority objectives is a good thing added to the game. And I will hyper focus on the priority objectives in a future video to show you all of the different techniques that I would use to get all of my modifiers, because that was the only way to get your passive modifiers. If you go to your build, you go to your modifiers section, these bottom 3 options are passive modifiers. The only way to unlock all of these modifiers is through the priority objectives. Now that is cool, right? However, when you are done with your season pass and when you have all of your passive modifiers, your priority objectives becomes a wash. There is no reason for me to use priority objectives now. Absolutely none. I don't get any more seasonal XP. I don't get any more modifiers. And now here are my 3 options. I get E-credits, resources, or, if I'm lucky, an exotic item. But it says right there I have to do some random mission that it tells me to. Fine, not bad. But I know I can farm the DZ and I can get exotics within minutes. So why would I do a random mission that it tells me to do just for one guaranteed exotic? Kind of seems like a wash there. So without the seasonal pass XP, without the modifiers in here, there's really no reason to do the priority objectives. If I look at this events timeline, the events timeline is even less than we've ever had before in the game. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you're scrolling through here, yeah, it looks like, oh man, we have a lot of stuff to do. However, they have already slated 20 weeks till the end of this season. And what they have not done is added the seasonal events. So yes, we will get seasonal events added into this timeline. But as far as the timeline as it sits right now, there are no league events, where a lot of people loved the whole leaderboards aspect and, you know, the competitiveness and the exclusive rewards from that. However, what they did do is they replaced the league events with XP events. Now, the XP events is their way of getting all of the casual players to level up to reach the same power as the veteran players. Which, yes, for new players, that's amazing. For veteran players, this is horrible. It gives us absolutely nothing to do. And if we are already above shade level 2000, this has no bearing in the game whatsoever. Like, yes, I can get all the way up to shade level 100,000. It does not matter, because after shade level 2000, you already have all your health. You already have all of your watch upgrades. There is absolutely nothing for XP except for expertise. And that's where this whole XP event kind of goes into, overdrive. They want you to get your expertise up because they know that you are at a huge disadvantage if you do not have your expertise up. So these XP events are not so much for your shade levels, because all you need is 2,000 shade levels to have a full maxed out watch. If I go to my watch, yes, I'm at over 10,000, but you can see my current health boost is only at 60,000. You get the exact same numbers just by being shade level 2000. So for anybody over shade level 2000, these XP boosts don't really help you in any way, shape, or form, except for maybe getting you materials and duplicates for your expertise. And that's where the whole Seasons 2.0 was meant to wipe out expertise completely. Remember, when they first announced Seasons 2.0, we were supposed to get a seasonal character with no expertise, and everyone starting off on the same level. And that's what they want. They're not able to make new content and new missions, because if they cater it to the players that are max expertise, the people that are not max expertise are going to be at a huge disadvantage. If they cater it to the people that have no expertise, then all of the people that have expertise are going to be at a huge advantage. So it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because the expertise system is in the game. They can't take the expertise system out because they made it to where you had to grind for this. And if they take this out of the game, I would suspect they're going to lose a majority, if not all, of their veteran players, because it takes a lot of effort to become fully proficient in over 400 items in this game. So their workaround is we're just going to keep doing XP events until everyone's the same level and everyone's maxed out. And yes, that is a good idea for the community as a whole, but that is strictly catered to the new and returning or casual player, not to the veteran player at all. And then we have our global events. As it sits right now, we have one global event in 3 weeks, another one in 8 weeks, and then one last one in 11 weeks. So there are 9 weeks of unscheduled events for this season because it says the season is here for another 20 weeks. So with that being said, we are not getting reanimated. And I believe we already had Guardians, right? Or was that at the end of last season? I can't remember. No, that's right. So we don't have Guardians and we don't have Reanimated. But we have all of these XP events. Okay, which to the new and returning players, whatever. You don't really need the global events because you have the modifiers right now. The modifiers, technically are their own global event. And it's permanent throughout the entire season. So it's kind of, doesn't really matter if these global events are here or not. And then therefore, for the veteran players who have already done these global events a million times, it doesn't really give us that itch, that scratch that we need so much, right? So the season pass is a wash. The priority objectives are good until you get all of your modifiers and all of your seasonal XP, so that's a wash. And then the events timeline, it's basically catered towards new and returning people to catch them up to the veterans. So everything I've talked about has nothing for veterans. Then we get into the seasonal journey. Now this is where I made a video a long time ago saying that this is a grind or the grind is real. Whatever I said. It was during the PTS, and I basically grinded all the way to here in like 2 days. And, well, I was able to do that again. It took about 2 days, and I grinded all the way back to Journey Mission 7. Now I have 20 weeks to finish this Journey mission to get this new Hunter Mask. But that's it. That is it for the entire season. And we have 5 months to go. Okay. Now, the reason why I have not even talked about the scouts or the manhunts yet, because in my opinion, it's not really anything good either. So we'll finish up with the seasonal journey and then we'll jump over to the scouts. So this seasonal journey, and I'll make a video on how to do this within a day solo, because it's really not that hard. You can knock out all of this within a day, and then I think tier 6 might take a day just by itself. So 2 days total, you can knock out all of these. It's really not that bad. Now the reason why I stopped at 7 is because 7 doesn't give me anything. All it gives me is a hunter mask, and I'll tell you a secret, I'm not going to use it. I don't care. Yeah, it does have red eyes. Yeah, it looks cool. But it's the exact same hunter mask with different red lenses. I mean, that's it. It does look cool, and yes, I will get it before the season ends, but that's it for the season for me. I already have all of the active modifiers through the seasonal journey, and I already have all of the passive modifiers through the priority objectives. I'm already over shade level 10,000, so I don't need XP. And I'm already max expertise. So for the next 20 weeks, what the hell are we supposed to do? And this is where the game kind of fumbled the hell out of this, is that they were too busy trying to cater to both sides and then, in fact, catered to nobody. Let me explain. So, to the veteran player, I would like to consider myself one of those veteran players. I've played day in and day out since the closed beta, since the alpha testing. I mean, whatever. Now, as a veteran player, I can safely tell you that you can knock out all of these within 2 days of gameplay. 2 straight days of gameplay. Like if you woke up in the morning and then played your little heart out until your eyes bled at night, and then woke up again the next day and did it again, you could be done with all of this. And that would be your entire season. For a veteran player, for a hardcore player, whatever you want to call them, they knock this out within a day, and that's when they wake up and don't play or don't stop playing until they're done. And that can be done as well. The most hardcore groups can do this with a 2, 3, 4-man group and knock this out within a day. So as a veteran player, there is really not much to do in the game right now. It is all the same crap, just reskinned with a cool new UI and then a cool little glasses logo over there. I mean, yeah, it does look cool. It does look fresh. But on paper, it's the same shit, and everyone is sick of it. We are waiting for this DLC, and apparently it's another 20 weeks away. Now, another part that is bad with this season is the modifier structure. The entire structure is flawed from the beginning, because if I toggle over to hostile modifiers, these 4 hostile modifiers are active from day 1 until the end of the season. The hostiles will forever have these modifiers. Not every single hostile has the modifier, but they all have a chance of having these modifiers. With that being said, the agents, or normal players, casual players, players that, jump on for a couple hours a day, try to knock out as much as they can, they are going to feel at a huge disadvantage during the beginning of the season because their players are going to be at a huge disadvantage due to these modifiers. Not only do these modifiers help the agent kill themselves by shooting the wrong enemy at the wrong zone, but it also gives the enemies more damage against you. And if you are, yet again, shooting them in the wrong zone, you deal up to 60% less damage. So they hit you harder, you can kill yourself, and they don't take as much damage. So yes, the average player is not happy with these modifiers. So my number 1 tip would be to just deactivate it. Just like that. Boom. Deactivate it. But if you deactivate it, you're missing out on your seasonal journey. And I was trying to talk about this during the PTS, but it seems like the developers just kept it in. They're not really in a position to change things right now. What do I mean by that? Well, if you do not use the modifiers and you do not have Warlords of New York, you will not be able to finish the seasonal journey. I repeat, if you do not use the modifiers and you do not have Warlords of New York, you will not be able to get this mask. You will not be able to finish the seasonal journey. Let me explain. These seasonal journeys, they start off very easy, but they progressively get harder and harder as you go. So the first tier, anyone and their mom can use it. Not bad. The second tier, again, anyone can do this. However, at this point, you have to play Descent and you have to do some main missions. Nothing crazy. Going to tier 3. Okay, well now we have to do strongholds, we have to do bounties, or control points. Really not that bad. Now, as the seasonal journey progresses, check this out. So if it's in orange, it means you have to have Warlords of New York. Now, each of these journey missions give you 8 objectives. You only need 6 to complete and go on to the next. Because 2 of these are in orange, that means if you do not have Warlords of New York, you have to do the remaining 6. It forces you to, because these bottom 2 are locked behind that first expansion. Now, to most of you, that's really not a big deal. The expansion was pretty cheap. A lot of people can get it. It's really not that bad, right? Well, as we go through this season, check this out. So, Season Journey 5. Now, 2 of them are in orange, which tells you you have to have Warlords of New York. And that also tells you that if you do not have Warlords of New York, you have to do the remaining 6 objectives. Now, if you look, the bottom 3 and the top objective are all modifiers. Not only that, but it forces you to use certain modifiers. For example, the drawback modifier, the pressure piston modifier, and the by the teeth modifier are all passive modifiers. The only way to do these objectives for the seasonal journey is to have these passive modifiers previous or prior to you doing this, and then it counts towards your seasonal journey. So this forces you to farm for these specific modifiers, and the only way to do so is through the priority objectives. You have to do the priority objectives, and you have to find the ones that say under the reward category, modifier. It'll say passive modifier, and then as soon as you open up that priority objective, it will then tell you which passive modifier you're going to unlock. So that's the only way. It forces you. So the seasonal journey, at start, all new and returning people can do 1, 2, 3, can do the first 3 loops, or the first 3 seasonal journey missions. Seasonal Journey 4, you have to have Warlords of New York to get by easy. But then by 5, you have to start using the modifiers. By 6, you have to do a lot more. You have to gain 30 shade levels, and you have to use the modifiers. These are all different modifiers, which then means you have to go back to your priority objectives and farm for those passive modifiers. So the reason why I'm breaking it down like this is to get you to understand that as a casual player, as a player that only has maybe 1 hour to play every few days, they will not be able to do this. This is not meant for the super casual. Now, yes, in 20 weeks, yes, they'll be able to do this, of course. That's plenty of time to knock out all of the tiers, even if you played, 1 hour every few days. However, this also forces that person to be at a disadvantage the entire time because they're not going to have the modifiers. This also puts that player at a disadvantage because then they're going to have to do the priority objectives to get those passive modifiers. So instead of giving players different options, you are forcing players to do all options. You see what I'm saying? So to the veteran players, this is not enough of a grind. It's easy to do, and if you know what you're doing, bada bing, bada boom, you're done. It's all recycled content just with a different smile on its face, and it's super easy for you to complete. For the casual player, for the mom and pop shop, you barely have time to, do anything, wipe your butt. let alone play a video game, this is now going to shoo you away. Because what is this going to do? This is going to force you to do priority objectives until your eyes bleed. And then it's going to force you to do a seasonal journey that a lot of people do not want to do in the first place. This is forcing you to play certain game modes that other people would never play, including Countdown and Descent. But it's also going to force you to use the modifiers, in which they kept saying if you don't want to, you can always disable them. But that's not true, because you have to have them active, and you have to do that for the seasonal journey. So we're in this weird place in the game where it's not really catered to the casuals. It's not really catered to the veterans. We're not getting any new content, and we're getting more and more gear sets and weapons to dilute the loot pool, in which we still don't even have the inventory or stash space to even own all of the items in the game without having to give something up or make a mule character. So we're in this weird limbo. Now, if you sprinkle in the seasonal pass XP bug, and you sprinkle in the little Strega bug that's going on, and then you sprinkle in the weird apparel bug that's, confusing people to spend actual money and not get refunded for it, it's making this weird disaster, this weird chaos that the community is currently in, because we all want this to work. But the way that they're executing it is so slow and not organized. Like, yes, this structure is amazing, but with no new content, it falls flat, and even more so, gives us a reason not to grind out the game. And I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. Now, I have talked about all of the good things and bad things from this season. Yes, it's been about a week, so I wanted the dust to settle before I talked about this, and to see if there would be any crazy changes or anything going on. But you can see, I'm far down on my clan leaderboard for the XP this week. I'm just not feeling it, to be honest with you. They need to bring out some sort of event, some sort of change real quick, because the grind is already over and this season has just started. Now, as far as the DLC, we know that they are working on the DLC, and they keep stressing that the only thing guaranteed from them is going to be this DLC. They keep saying the DLC will be after this season, and they keep reiterating that the DLC is happening. So the timeline for that DLC currently is at 20 weeks and 13 hours. That puts the Brooklyn DLC for March 25th, 2025. Now, yes, the developers have said, just in this previous live stream, to not trust their timelines anymore, which is pretty ironic, because their timelines used to be the main thing that they would talk about in State of the Games and different special reports in the past. But because of all of the delays and all of the pushback from not only the DLC being delayed a full year, but then the Seasons 2.0 pushback and the seasonal character cancellation, and then the Heartland cancellation, and then the Division Resurgence pushback, there has been so much shit happening with this franchise that we know that these timelines are not only accurate, but we also know that these are the timelines that they are supposed to meet. So the only reason that this timeline would get changed is if they would typically delay something. Now, on the miracle that they give us something earlier, hell yeah, I'm all down for it. But as far as the history of this franchise, that has never happened ever. Not once, not now, not ever. So, with that being said, this is the current timeline for the DLC, March 25th, 2025. And I would assume that the only way this would change is if they give us another delay. But what do you think? Do you think that we have 20 weeks of content to go through until then? What do you think they're going to surprise us with? They did say that we'll get 1 or 2 seasonal events while all this is happening. But with that current seasonal pass XP bug giving everyone the entire pass within a day, and then looking at how the journey and the modifiers only take, a little bit of time to grind through if you know what you're doing, it kind of seems like we're at this like stalemate again, this limbo, this void, if you will, waiting for this DLC. I don't know. I'm Kamikazevondoom. This is everything good and bad with Year 6 Season 2 and what's to come after. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.